law announcement, please.
Commissioners are reminded that if with respect to any matter or any person coming before the commission today, you have received a gift or loan, you have a pecuniary interest, you have a commitment in a private capacity, such as a family, employment, business, or similar relationship, or you provided representation or counseling that is reasonably related to the matter being considered to a person or entity for compensation before another agency within the immediately preceding year, you must disclose that gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation at the time the matter is being considered. And you must furthermore abstain from deliberation or voting on the matter if it is clear that the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Commissioners are also reminded that under the Planning Commission rules, if you have had any contact outside this meeting with any persons interested in a matter coming before the commission today, you should disclose the nature of that contact at this meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Webb, the
With
appeals
pleasure.
procedure.
Most decisions rendered by the Planning Commission are appealable to the Board of County Commissioners. If you disagree with the decision of the Planning Commission and you want to appeal its action, you may do so in writing within 10 calendar days from the date that the decision being appealed is assigned by the Planning Commission Chair and/or the Secretary of the Planning Commission, filed with the Secretary of the Planning Commission and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Please call the planning staff immediately at 328-6100 for information on the appeal procedure and the application fee. For the Commission and members of the audience this evening, I'd like to note that item 8A is appealable for whatever action the Commission has. And with item 8B, which is the Development Code Amendment, that's only appealable if the Commission recommends denial or actually denies the actual amendment itself.
Thank you. General public comment. Do we have public comment?
We do. We have Kim Robinson. Hi, my name is Kim Robinson. I'm with the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency. It's nice to be here tonight. See some familiar faces and some new ones, so hello. I am here because we are talking about, hang on, I'm not used to being down here and running this. There we go. So I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about who we are. We are the Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency. We were created by the Nevada Legislature in 1989, and we were developed to foster coordination around the use of land and resources such as water, air quality, sewer, and roads. We do this across Washoe County. We develop and maintain a plan that coordinates growth across that region. It has a 20-year horizon and influences other plans on a broad level. So, why should we plan regionally? Well, the answer is because growth really doesn't know boundaries. It's really very common for somebody to say live in Sparks but work in the city of Reno, play in Washoe County. So in terms of that, the ability to be able to think on a broader scale, think more regionally about our growth is pretty important. We also foster coordination amongst jurisdictions and our various regional agencies. We work with a lot of regional entities. Our data and analysis has been used by many groups, such as the Economic Development Authority and the Western Regional Water Commission. And, oh, that's right. Since 2012, we have worked on over 40 collaborative projects, and we've leveraged over $1 million in government funds, ensuring that the investment of those government dollars was used well. Why am I here tonight? Because we've recently launched the public participation phase of the 2017 Regional Plan Update. It's a 5-year update, and our community has changed a lot in the last 5 years since we updated. Whether it's our economy, our demographics, the way we're using land, we've seen a lot of change, and we expect to see a lot more, and we want to be prepared. So, since the regional plan addresses these types of topics, this is the perfect opportunity to engage and share your thoughts on the future of our community. How to do that? Well, we've got a website, plantruckeemeadows.org. Please go there, sign up. We'll send out newsletters, information. We've also got our first survey up talking about growth in our region. We plan to do about a survey a month. And we will be doing focus groups. We'll be back here to provide you some updates. But please engage, please share on your social media and with your friends. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
No further public comment.
Thank you. Item 6, possible action to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 7, possible action to approve the August 1st, 2017 draft minutes.
Motion to approve.
Oh, my goodness.
Second.
Okay.
Third.
Moved by
Fourth.
Commissioner Chesney and seconded by Commissioner Doncheck. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We're now at item 8A, amendment of conditions for special use permit case number SW15-002. Mr. Webb, if you could identify the general nature of the proceedings, please.
Certainly. For possible action, hearing, and discussion to approve an amendment of conditions for Turquoise Solar LLC, an approved project to construct a 585-acre photovoltaic field, a 60-megawatt substation, and a 120-kilowatt transmission line connecting the proposed new substation to the NV Energy Para substation. The project also includes up to 7,200 cubic yards of grading. The proposed amendment of conditions will grant the applicant 2 additional years until September 30th, 2019, to complete construction plans and obtain building permits for the project. The planner is Ms. Kraus.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures by commissioners, either ethics or ex parte communications?
None.
None.
Okay, thank you. If we could have the staff presentation, please.
Eva Kraus, planner, Washoe County Community Services. I wasn't going to really go over a presentation unless you really want to see it. I have the 2015 presentation. I can show that to you again if you like. But as it's stated, this is an amendment of conditions, basically granting them 2 additional years to complete the project. So if you have questions or would like me to do a presentation, I'm happy to do so.
Okay,
If I might, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just for the record, the chair did open up the public hearing on this
Yes.
item.
yes. Now, I was just going to reaffirm that we are now open for public hearings, so,
The applicant is also here and she can answer questions.
okay. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, briefly, why the 2 years? Quick, you know?
The originally a special use permit, our standard condition on a special use permit is a 2-year time to begin construction. The applicant has been working towards getting investors buying the land, getting contracts set up and everything, but they haven't begun construction yet, so they're asking for an additional 2 years to start construction.
Thank you.
I have 2 things. One, you misspelled special underneath the title to your map.
I'm sorry.
And 2, and this may be totally my ignorance, but under the actual special use permit, under Exhibit A, Item 3A,
Is that in the original staff report?
Yes.
Okay.
That talks about water.
I don't see a page number.
It's about the 4th page,
Page.
Yes.
middle of the
Washoe
page.
County Planning and Building Water Management Coordinator.
Right, that's Fahid.
That is actually the heat, Bermerman, and that is actually his official title. He used to work for Water Resources, or for,
Department of Water Resources.
We combined, or Telmont took over that, they incorporated into our department.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I will read it, what it says. It says, require valid will serve from water purveyor for the permanent water demands for
Okay.
this project.
Will serve is a
and
technical
associated
term.
I know what it is.
facilities."
I don't, but it's.
But it's already
Is
been
that a
approved, though.
statement? Is that,
That is a requirement, and it would actually,
That's the legalese phrase.
as part of any, development that have water rights, the actual site had, the property owners have water rights, they just have, and they did have a will serve letter submitted with the original permit.
okay, so there is a will serve letter.
Right.
If I might, just to clarify that a little bit, it may not be actually in the form of a letter. That's why Mr. Bahama doesn't use the term letter. It could be a will serve document, a memorandum. It could be a series of certified or permitted water rights. So he's been a bit broader rather than just specifying the term letter to allow some more latitude in the documentation or proof of water rights that an applicant can provide.
Statement would seem to cover most of the things you said it could be. But that's fine, that's it, thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners for staff? Do commissioners have questions of the applicant?
The applicant has a short presentation.
Okay.
Like, she can explain better why they're asking for 2 more years.
Okay.
We can talk about the water as well.
They're getting it for you.
I'm sorry?
They're getting it pulled up. There we go.
Okay. Well, I can get started in the meantime. My name is Jill Daniel. I'm the president of Estuary Capital Partners. Estuary Capital Partners is a developer of energy projects with a particular focus on northern Nevada and northern California. I founded the firm in early 2013, and we've been working on the Turquoise Solar Project since mid-2014 in close partnership with Unique Infrastructure Group. So Turquoise Solar is a 60-megawatt solar photovoltaic project located in the Reno Technology Park in Patrick, Nevada, about 15 miles east of downtown Reno. Turquoise Solar has 560 acres of land within the Reno Technology Park that we purchased a few months ago from Unique Infrastructure Group. We also have 200 acre-feet of construction water. I'm not sure if there is a will serve letter, but we do have a lease on 200 acre-feet of construction water, as well as 2 acre-feet annually of operations water. We've been developing the project since early 2014. Some of you may recall that a 360 megawatt gas-fired project was originally conceived for this particular site. I began working with Unique Infrastructure Group to progress that gas-fired power plant, and we've learned that many of the large enterprises locating in northern Nevada are much more interested in emissions-free solar energy. And so I decided at first to add a solar project to the overall Reno Technology Park so that we could better meet the needs of data centers and other large energy users that we're considering locating in northern Nevada. Why did we pick the Reno Technology Park for this particular solar project? You may have noticed that many solar projects are actually located in far more rural locations, far outside of town. This project is actually located right at the heart of the NV Energy Northern Nevada transmission system. The large Tracy substation is there, the new Power substation is there, the Tracy power plant is there. There are also 2 other privately owned conventional power plants just south of Turquoise Solar. Additionally, Turquoise Solar is located very close to load. It's located just adjacent to the Apple data center complex, which has been expanding over the last several years. It's located near several other data centers in the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center. And because the project is located so near transmission resources and so near load, we lose a lot less energy in moving the energy from the place that it's generated to the place where it's actually used. So a bit about my firm. I founded Estuary in early 2013. Prior to that, I was a developer and investor in energy and utility projects at a number of larger firms. We are very excited about the prospect of developing solar energy as well as storage in northern Nevada, and we've got about 300 megawatts of additional projects under consideration in northern Nevada. In fact, I'm planning to move to Reno in November 2017, and Estuary's headquarters will move with me. And we are a woman-owned business, certified by the California PUC. Nevada does not have a similar certification process, or I would certainly go through it, but we are a woman-owned business. There's actually a mistake in the next bullet. We received approval for our special use permit in July 2015, and we're now requesting a 2-year extension so that we can complete our construction plans and apply for building permits. And I'll show a timeline in 2 slides, which explains why we believe 2 years is an adequate time frame for developing the solar project and applying for our building permits. So here are the milestones that we've achieved to date. In summary, we've spent over $4 million to date to advance the project, and Turquoise Solar has been, most of my time over the last 3 years. In January 2017, 2017, Estuary selected Sumitomo Corporation as its financial partner for Turquoise Solar after a process where we probably spoke to 15 to 20 different investors. There was a lot of interest in the project. I selected Sumitomo for a few reasons. One is they're financially strong. They're creditworthy. They have an investment-grade credit rating by Moody's and Standard & Poor's, which is incredibly important for the success of the project. Second is they have very deep and broad global experience in energy projects around the world. That includes both conventional energy projects and increasingly renewable energy projects. I think you're familiar with the permitting steps that we've achieved, so I'll skip to March 2016 when Turquoise Solar entered an agreement with NV Energy to interconnect the project to the grid. NV Energy has actually completed all of the facilities required to interconnect the project. So it's approximately $1.5 million of facilities to connect the project to the grid. So a significant financial commitment on our part. And then in October 2016, Turquoise Solar received its first supply contract with Liberty Utilities, which, as you probably know, serves several California communities in the Lake Tahoe region. We signed the agreement in October 2016. It's been before the California Public Utility Commission since December 2016, and we do anticipate approval for that supply agreement any day. So that will be the first phase of the project. As I'll describe on the next slide, the first phase will be 10 megawatts of solar capacity for Liberty as well as our substation. And then in May 2017, Turquoise exercised its option to buy its site from Unique Infrastructure Group. We also got all the easements we needed and secured our water rights. So one of the things I think is particularly exciting about this project is that when it is constructed, it will be the largest solar project in northern Nevada by a factor of 3. Right now, the largest solar project in Nevada is in Fort Churchill, and it's 20 megawatts. Our project will be 60 megawatts. So we're certainly very excited about adding a solar project to a region which is right now dominated by conventional power generation. And all types of power generation have their place, but we think solar is a nice add to the infrastructure in this area. And then, another important thing to point out is that we've worked with all local Northern Nevada firms in developing this project. All local Northern Nevada law firms, consulting firms, many small and entrepreneurial businesses, and we really think that we've done our best to create a lot of interest in the project among our partners here. And then finally, looking forward in terms of why we're looking for the 2-year extension and what our next steps are. First of all, on an ongoing basis, we talk to other energy users in the region, and there are quite a few either operating today or planning to locate in Northern Nevada. We are having good success with finding purchasers for the remainder of the energy, and I hope that we'll have all the energy sold by the end of 2017. That's certainly our hope. We anticipate the California PUC's approval of the Liberty project in October 17, and then so in a month and a half time, and then we anticipate finalizing our issues for construction drawings and applying for the building permit for that portion of the project in Q1. And then we anticipate that the second stage, if all goes well with our supply agreements, we would apply for our building permits in late 2018, and we would construct in 2019. So our view is that an extension of the permit through September 2019 should be more than enough time to get all the development finished on the project and 2 building permits submitted and then construction completed. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I guess I'm on now. What kind of, these are kind of general questions, not particularly about the project, but I'm kind of curious. How many jobs is this going to generate for the area?
The project will generate at least 75 full-time construction jobs. And we are, the project is actually, it's required to pay prevailing wage, which right now is about $39. There are certain tax abatements that the project is, that all solar projects above 10 megawatts are eligible for. And in order to receive those tax benefits, we pay prevailing wage.
Okay.
So it'll be at least 75. On an operating basis, solar unfortunately does not create a lot
Right.
of jobs. So we do expect the project to be unmanned. We expect it to be operated remotely, most likely by a firm in Las Vegas. And then when something needs to be fixed, folks will come out to the site. But unfortunately, solar just doesn't create that many ongoing jobs.
The other curious question I have with the whole area over there is being really developed. Are you aware of any other, there's a number of power projects that we have seen, the Apple and so forth. Are there any others that you see coming out there to support the park itself?
So this project, this will be the only project in the Reno Technology Park. I have had some conversations with Unique Infrastructure Group and with Apple about potentially expanding this project. And it could potentially be up to 100 megawatts without additional strain on the system. So we have had those conversations. If there was interest in doing that from Apple and from Estuary, then we would need to apply for a new special use permit or an amendment to the special use permit, which covered the parcels to the south. And if that progresses, you certainly may see my face here again. In terms of other projects in the area south of the freeway and Trick, there's been some discussion of Tesla building their own solar project. There's been some discussion of Trick or of Switch building their own solar project. I'm not aware of whether those projects are very advanced or not. Most of the projects I've seen in northern Nevada are kind of 100 to 200 miles out to the east, and they're not as compelling. They've got to move the power a long way.
Right.
They don't have local customers. I haven't heard much about other projects in this region.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I do.
Commissioner
Is
Chesney?
this 100% photovoltaic
It is.
panels? Well,
It is.
I commend you on the project. I think it looks great.
Other questions from commissioners, of staff or the applicant? Thank you. So we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
Madam Chair, would you entertain a motion?
Absolutely.
Madam Chair, can you
Yes.
confirm for the record whether there was any public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
I'm just using my, my observation skills, but thank you.
That being said,
Yes.
I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Planning Commission approved the amendment of condition 1B as outlined in the staff report for this matter for special use permit case number SW15-002 for Turquoise Solar LLC, having made all 5 of the findings in accordance with the Washoe County Code, section 110.810.30.
I second that.
And you can find all
And
5.
including all 5
Findings,
of the findings.
And Commissioner John Check has seconded. Is there any discussion?
Well, I think that this is a wonderful project for our area. Certainly, it's environmentally good for the area, and it also will provide for people who want to come to the area, have that power. So I think economically and environmentally, it's a very positive thing for the park.
I totally concur. All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Our next item is 8B, Development Code Amendment, case number WDCA 17-0004. And if you could identify the project for us, Mr. Webb?
With pleasure. For possible action, hearing, and discussion to initiate amendment to Washoe County Code Chapter 110 within Article 310 to update the standards within Section 110.310.35G and other matters necessarily connected therein and pertaining thereto. The code currently allows for temporary occupancy of a recreational vehicle or travel trailer by a person who provides care to an infirm resident of a single-family dwelling. The proposed update eliminates the requirement that it be the caregiver who temporarily occupies the RV or travel trailer, and instead allows either the caregiver or the infirm person to occupy the RV or travel trailer. If the proposed amendment is initiated, public hearing and further possible action to deny or recommend approval of the proposed amendment, and if approval is recommended, to authorize the chair to sign a resolution to that effect. And the planner is Ms. Mullen.
Thank you. Is there disclosures by commissioners, either ethics or ex parte communications? Okay, thank you. I'm opening the public hearing, and we have a staff presentation.
Madam Chair, good evening, members of the commission. I'm Kelly Mullen, planner with Washoe County. This hearing may be a little bit different than what you're used to for development code amendments because we are combining what are usually two separate actions into one hearing. We're asking you tonight to both initiate and amend the amendment and also to consider the proposed language. However, this is a very focused amendment, looking at just one paragraph of one section within the development code. So I'll start with a little bit of background. In general, the code does not allow for RVs or travel trailers to be used for living on a permanent basis. However, there are some exceptions within the code for them to be lived in on a temporary basis under very specific circumstances. One of those circumstances is when there is an infirm resident of a single-family dwelling that requires an on-site caregiver. Under that scenario, the infirm resident could potentially apply for an administrative permit to allow the caregiver to live in an RV or travel trailer on site. However, the current code is very specific in that it would potentially allow for only the caregiver to live in that RV or travel trailer. So that's where we're at with our current code. To provide a little bit of additional perspective, 3 weeks ago, we received an application from an infirm person who requires an on-site caregiver, and this individual has lived in his RV for several years, and he would like to be able to do so on his caregiver's property. However, the code, as it's currently worded, does not allow for that option, and we do recognize that this flexibility would be beneficial, and therefore we are requesting a change tonight. So we do support having this flexibility in part because it's anticipated that there would be little difference in the impacts of whether it's the caregiver or the infirm person who lives in an RV or travel trailer. And the overall impacts would, of course, also still be reviewed and addressed during that administrative permit process. So essentially what we are seeking is to eliminate the requirement that it be the caregiver who temporarily resides in the RV or the travel trailer, and to provide that flexibility to allow either the caregiver or the infirm person to occupy that RV or travel trailer, just depending on what is more convenient for their specific circumstances. So the language changes that are shown on the screen were also provided in the staff report as well as in attachment A. I won't read through those specifically since we just talked about the summary. We did hold a public workshop where we invited the public and all citizen advisory board members. That was held last Thursday, August 31st. We did not receive any attendees. We did have one comment that was provided to us from a member of the public. That email was provided to you today. That was in support of the changes. Staff does believe that all of the required findings for development code amendment can be made. That includes that the amendment is consistent with the master plan, promotes the purpose of the development code, responds to changed conditions, and would not result in any adverse effects. So we are recommending this evening 2 specific actions for you to take. First is to initiate the amendment, and then to also recommend approval of the proposed language. We do have 2 motions provided for you. Those are on pages 4 and 5 of the staff report for those 2 actions. My presentation, I'm available for any questions.
Questions for staff?
I have a question.
Commissioner Haran.
Does this provide for, I assume it does provide if you have 2 RVs on the same property? One for the caregiver and one for the infirm and vice versa? I mean, would that be addressed as well?
So in the code specifically, it does not, I don't know if Mr. Webb wants to jump in, but it does require that there be a single family residence on the property. Established as a principal use would be a single family dwelling. So not necessarily considering whether there would be, just RVs on the property. I don't think that would be supported as part of this amendment because there still needs to be a principal use established on the property first. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. Bob, do you want to expand?
So the short answer is no, because again, you have to have an established principal residential use, a single-family dwelling.
Okay, so we wouldn't end up with 2 RVs?
No. The only-
Okay,
there-
thank
She
you.
mentioned temporary occupancy, and that doesn't account.
Thank you.
Other questions for staff from commissioners? Do we have an applicant presentation? Do we?
They are the applicant.
Washoe County is the applicant, yes. Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, I'm closing public hearing and bringing it back to the board and reminding the board that there are 2 motions.
My only comment is that it applies an awful lot of logic here.
Yes, it does. We like that.
I'm curious, and I don't know if this is for Kelly or for Bob. I didn't realize that it was allowable to live in a recreational vehicle anywhere.
For clarification, there's 2 temporary occupancies provisions. This is one. The second one is you can reside in a recreational vehicle or a travel trailer while constructing your permanent home for a total of up to 37 months, provided you have a valid building permit. Those are the 2 instances.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, and I guess I should say one other, I just forgot. Temporary camping, where you can visit someone for 2 weeks at a time, up to 4 times a year.
Okay.
But you still have to have an established principal dwelling. You have to be a guest of the person in the dwelling. You can't have any outside hookups. So that's 3.
You sure that's 4?
That's why I didn't build a guest house. I don't want them coming for more than 2 weeks at a time.
No more, there we go, 2 weeks is nice.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion. And remember, there are 2 motions, one for initiation and then one for the amendment.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Chesney.
I would like to propose a motion. The first part of the motion will be the initiation, and I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Planning Commission initiate the amendment of Washoe County Code Chapter 110, Article 310, temporary uses and structures as described in the staff report and WDCA 17-0004.
Is there a second
I
to the
second.
discussion on the motion? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Madam Chair, I'd like to.
Commissioner Chesney.
I would like to propose an amendment that I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Planning Commission recommend approval of WDCA 17-0004 to amend Washoe County Code Chapter 110, Article 310, temporary uses and structures. I further move to authorize the chair to sign the resolution contained in the in Attachment A on behalf of the Planning Commission and to direct staff to present a report of this commission's recommendation to the Washoe County Board of Commissioners within 60 days of today's date. This recommendation for approval is based on all of the following 4 findings in accordance with the Washoe County Code, Section 110.818.15E.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We are now at item 9, Chair and Commission items. 9A, future agenda items. Do we have from commissioners future agenda requests? If not, I would like to request that we have a formal Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency presentation and update for what we just heard in public hearing. My fellow commissioners that are on the Regional Planning Commission have had this opportunity, so it might be beneficial for all of us, the remainder of us. Any other requests for future agenda items? Item B, request for information from staff.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Donchak.
I'd like an update of, we haven't seen anything of planned but not built in quite a while for Washoe County, Reno as a whole, to give us an understanding of where the county is sitting and where we're going.
It's approved but not built.
Yeah.
Approve it, yeah. It usually comes when we have a,
But we
Normally, the focused area map will accompany any tentative subdivision maps, but what I hear the request is a countywide picture.
Yes, please.
okay. Any other requests for information? Item 10, Director and Legal Counsel items. 10A, reports on previous Planning Commission items.
I have one update. The Planning Commission rules, policies, and procedures, what we refer to as RPPs, to keep that short. You all took action on that at your last meeting to remove the 5 minutes for group speakers. You notice that's not a part of the agenda anymore, and it's not a part of your RPPs. Staff is working, and we'll bring back to you in October a draft update that staff has been working on between Ms. Olander and Mr. Edwards. And so you'll see this in 2 meetings. The first one will be for you to review the draft and see if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you want to make additions, deletions, or whatever. And then whatever your outcome is from that meeting, then it will return to you in a subsequent meeting, your next one, for possible adoption. At that time, it would then be included. That's all I
Thank you.
have.
10B, legal information and updates.
I don't have anything to add right now.
Okay, thank you. 11, general public comment. Do we have any general public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Larry, you didn't get to make that one?
No, he didn't. Thank you, everyone.
Come on, take the survey. Post it on the take it off. Your acquaintances, take the survey. Thank you.
Didn't even get to it. Didn't have a chance to.